They didn't investigate Joe Biden or Hunter Biden. There is no there.
I understand, but it's not stopping, Senator. You know, you say, yeah, he needs to stop, but he's not.
It's
for 3 years, he said collusion was in plain sight.
Yeah, well,
where's the accountability for that? Let me hear your thoughts on the IG report. We're
the accountability comes in November of 2020 when the public sees what the House has done with their majority. They spent all their time trying to destroy the Trump presidency. They've done nothing beneficial to the American people. You know who may be the most valuable player for the Republican Party in the 2020 election cycle is Adam Schiff.
So in terms of the Fisa abuse, we're going to get the report tomorrow. You're going to have Michael Horowitz testify in front of your committee on Wednesday.
Yes.
Will we see that there was exculpatory evidence held back from the Fisa court in order to get a warrant to spy on Carter Page?
We'll soon see. Here's what I think we'll see is a pattern of where they manipulated the evidence to get a warrant. They ignored strong signals that Christopher Steele, the author of the dossier, was biased against Trump. They withheld information from the court about how the dossier was created. They never informed the court that it was paid for by the Democratic Party, and Christopher Steele hated Trump's guts. I'm looking for evidence of whether or not they manipulated the facts to get the warrant. And as to the counterintelligence investigation, why didn't they tell President Trump that they suspected Carter Page and Papadopoulos of working with the Russians? And if they didn't tell him, there's a reason. Counterintelligence is designed to protect institutions, designed to protect Americans from foreign influence. They told Hillary Clinton about efforts to do that. They told Dianne Feinstein she had somebody on her staff they thought were working with the Chinese, but they never mentioned to Trump, Papadopoulos, or Carter Page, and I want to know why.
Director James Comey, Director, welcome to Fox News Sunday.
Thanks for having me.
You have been taking something of a victory lap since the IG report was released earlier this week. The question is whether or not it's justified. Here are you and the Inspector General, Michael Horowitz, answering the same question.
Do you think this is vindication?
It is. I mean, the FBI's had to wait 2 years while the president and his followers lied about the institution. Finally, the truth gets told.
Does your report vindicate Mr. Comey?
It doesn't vindicate anyone at the FBI who touched this, including the leadership.
The IG says you should feel no vindication.
Does your report vindicate Mr. Comey?
It doesn't vindicate anyone at the FBI who touched this, including the leadership.
Does it vindicate Mr. McCabe?
Same answer.
A lawyer at the FBI creates fraudulent evidence, alters an email. That is in turn used as the basis for a sworn statement to the court that the court relies on. Am I stating that accurately?
That's correct.
Is it kind of off the charts bad?
It's pretty bad.
DOJ and the FBI didn't inform the FISA court that this was being paid for by the DNC and the Hillary Clinton campaign. Is that right?
That's not in any of the FISA applications.
So they didn't tell the court that.
Christopher Steele, is it fair to say that he had a political bias against Donald Trump?
Given who he was paid for, there was a bias that needed to be disclosed to the court.
Does it seem that he personally had a bias, not just because he's on the payroll of the Democratic Party, but he...
Well, we found in the course of this and heard from Mr. Orr about his comment to him that he was desperate to prevent Mr. Trump's election.
They sent spies to record senior members of the campaign in the middle of a presidential campaign when that candidate was the nominee for the other major party that was the opposing party to the one in power. Is that right?
They send confidential human sources in to do those. It's fair for people to sit there and look at all of these 17 events and wonder how it could be purely incompetence.
Has now come on my show, and he has proven that he wants to be in touch with the people. And there's a lot of folks that are running right now in New York City, and I've actually interviewed both folks that are running for the mayoral races. I've interviewed a lot of candidates and incumbents. This is where it comes to, guys. We want to see who's going to be in office. Our country is faced right now with the biggest challenge, I think, in the history. There's too many things that are happening. We have to put our faith in God first. I'm not ashamed to say it. I have my faith in God, country, family, and I support President Donald J. Trump. I pray for him. He has an intercessory prayer team that is praying for him. If you guys were able to watch on Phoenix, Arizona, and he had a team of people praying for him, Dr. King, the niece of the late Dr. Martin Luther King, and also Franklin Graham, Dr. Franklin Graham also was there praying. They said We need to be
united in working since the governor, and even the last year, the last 8 years, and probably 20 years, where we've been losing a lot of funding. So right now, what we need to do is really focus on district by district and all levels of government. That's from your city to your county, to the state, and to the federal. We can do it. I would love for it to happen overnight, but it may not take overnight. If we can keep the seats and also flip the seats, I think we will go back by 20.
For so many years, we achieved so much, prospered as no other people on earth. It was because here in this land, we unleashed the energy and individual genius of man to a greater extent than has ever been done before. Freedom and the dignity of the individual have been more available and assured here than in any other place on earth. The price for this freedom at times has been high, but we have never been unwilling to pay that price. Those who say that we're in a time when there are no heroes, they just don't know where to look. The sloping hills of Arlington National Cemetery, with its row upon row of simple white markers bearing crosses or stars of David, they add up to only a tiny fraction of the price that has been paid.
Side by side fighting for our country. As your Congresswoman, I will continue that fight to ensure the great freedoms that our forefathers established are protected. I am Aja Smith, United States Air Force.